Oh hey, I didn't see you there. I was just racing in the Hot Wheels World Race. Oh, you've never heard of the Hot Wheels World Race? Well, let me tell you a little bit about it then. Woohoo! The Hot Wheels World Race movie was a movie that was released all the way back in 2003. I didn't even realize until doing a little bit of research about it. It was made by the studio called Rainmaker, which apparently also made this. The newer-ish, I guess, Ratchet & Clank movie, which personally I didn't think was that bad. And I know what you're thinking. What does this have to do with the Hot Wheels movie? Nothing. I just got like a little distracted when I was doing some research about this movie. So, now we're gonna get back to talking about the Hot Wheels movie. To kick it off, the Hot Wheels movie starts out with our main character, Burt Wheeler, who's some cool like skater guy, and it even opens up with him doing like some sick tricks on a half pipe and spins around and does like a triple ollie backflip or something. I don't know any like skating terms, so he probably did something like that. Also, something that kind of seemed weird that I found out about the movie is this is Vert. This is what Vert looks like. He's supposed to be 16 years old and literally just getting his driver's license. Like, this is an animated movie. Couldn't they make him look a little bit younger or just say he's 18? Like, I feel like a lot of people get their driver's license at 18. Our main guy, he skates all the way back to his house, and what does he find in his driveway? A brand spanking new car. And this weird old professor dude, and he's talking about all these different racers that he's been recruiting around the world to compete in his world race. Which, mind you, is built by a bunch of aliens called the Accelerons. And then we get introduced to a few main things. First off, all of the cars have this thing called nitrox. It's like this souped up, crazy version of nitro that has blue flames and it makes their cars just go absolutely freaking flying. It's awesome. So they can kick it up to 300 miles per hour, and that's gonna come into play later. And then each one of the different types of cars has a different special ability. So one is like a saw blade that comes out of the front of it. One is like a big like sledgehammer thing and it can drive through lava. And then Vert's car kind of like jumps up into the air and like hovers around. Still pretty cool. All of these movies, all of these like race car racing type movies, they always have to have that kind of like that mystery, that splash of like, ooh, who is this guy? And it's always in some like shrouded racer who's covered in all black. Their car is completely covered in black and it's like, oh, who the heck is it? And this movie's no different. You got him. His name is Z36. He's this guy who shows up every so often, and he's just trying to sprinkle some chaos and blow up the track and just and mess with our drivers. He's kind of cuckoo. And then when our guy Z36 makes his grand appearance, what does he do? What do you think? He blows up a bridge? Maybe he like, sends some evil robots to attack them or something? Nah. This man puts a bomb in an active volcano, blows that freaking thing up, and then lava starts pouring down all over the track. And then when they're finally done with the race, the professor, he tells them something. Not only are you racing by yourself, but you get 6 more people to join you. And if you or any of the people on your team get to the end and get that wheel of power, then everybody on your team gets $5 million. But then in the next scene, we get to see some of the new racers. Some of them are familiar faces, maybe some of them aren't. But the guy on the Flame team, one of his buddies that he gets to join his team, he has like one of those open block, kind of cool, like old cars, but the cabin of it is literally a gigantic skull. Like, what the heck? That's freaking awesome. Like, I love it. And then we're moving on to the next race. And this is the race where they finally get to the Wheel of Power.
You're teasing me, naughty.
But then when they finally find the Wheel of Power, and this guy Kurt and Madeem, they start racing, they're fighting to try to get this Wheel of Power. But then they both get out of their cars and they start boxing. Literally boxing each other in the middle of the track. Eventually, Madeem knocks Kurt off the race. He gets the Wheel of Power secured on the back of his car, but when he finally gets through the portal, as he's going through, the Wheel of Power starts disappearing behind of his car. We also finally get to see who that Z36 guy is, and it was none other than that a-hole Kurt Wile, who's literally just been causing trouble the entire time under his like just normal self. So why the heck did he even go under disguise? Well, we figure out he was being paid by this crazy lady over here and a bunch of robots to get the wheel of power for her. But since Kurt hasn't been doing such a great job with the last couple of races and stopping the actual racers, she sends the robots to help him for the next couple of races. Then after a while of them kind of driving across this ice and other stuff, Vert, who got way ahead of everybody else, he discovers it. He discovers the city made by the Accelerons and where the Wheel of Power is located. And then he starts racing all the way to the top of the tower. He reaches his hand out of the window and grabs it. But then, all of a sudden, he's warped away. And then bang, 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 boom, 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 boom. All the other racers start coming off of Highway 35. And then they see it. They see that Vert has the Wheel of Power. And then they take the wheel to the professor and he writes everybody that sick check. And he's like, you know what? Even the people that didn't win, everybody can keep their cars. Which honestly, if I didn't win and I still got to just keep the cars are all pretty cool, so I would still be happy. And then all the racers are like, you know what, I'm kind of bored. Let's go back to Highway 35 and race around the track another time. They figure out because the Wheel of Power was taken off of Highway 35, they can't go back. The professor was just trying to take the Wheel of Power to create some kind of unlimited energy source. And then when he was trying to get power out of the Wheel of Power, he ended up blowing up the whole North Atlantic power grid. And then the professor's like, maybe I shouldn't have the Wheel of Power. Maybe it is a little bit above my pay grade. So then he gives it back to the racers and he's like, you know what? Put it back on Highway 35. All these robots are fighting them while they're trying to put the Wheel of Power back in. And then after fighting them and going back and forth and all this, Vert finally puts the Wheel of Power back at the top of the tower and they can finally get off of Highway 35. And then towards the end of the movie, Vert's dad shows up and he's like, you know what? I'm proud of you, son. Let's take that new car you got for a little spin on the road. So they start driving together, hanging out, it's awesome. And then his dad hits the button in the center and it activates the nitro. They start crazy, going like 1,000,000 miles per hour, and then the big portal opens, and boom, they disappear back to Highway 35. And that's it, that's the end of the movie. And I honestly have no idea what the point of this video was. I just kind of wanted to share a movie that I really liked and I had like so much nostalgia for, and hopefully somebody out there also really liked this movie, maybe as much as I did. Or now, if you're an adult or a kid and you thought any of this kind of sounded cool, go and watch it. Because in my opinion, this movie was
magnificent.